What accommodations are unique? I think that, especially with students on the spectrum, students on the spectrum are unique. There are hardly any ways, okay, for example, I'll make something simple. If you have a student with a physical disability who uses a wheelchair, there are common accommodations that you would use, such as ramps and things like that. And those don't necessarily need to be put into place right at that moment. They're already there. If you have a student on the spectrum, their need for support can be very unique. And again, that's part of the interviewing process to find out what those might be. And we've had some really interesting ones. I had one student who was in culinary, and one day she was very disturbed about something that happened in the class. So she came to my office, and she was clearly upset about stuff and was taking some time to get calmed down before she could go back into the classroom. So it was clear. I said, well, are you ready to go back to the classroom after we talked for a while? And she goes, not really. She said, I'm still kind of upset. I said, okay, so what do you do? Does this ever happen to you in any other situation? She said, yes, it happens to me at home when I argue with my sisters. I said, well, then what do you do? She said, I always watch shark attack videos. I'm going like, oh, okay. So we turned on the YouTube and picked up a shark attack video. And you could watch her just calming down as she watched the shark attack video. So anyway, we talked to the teacher about it, and he said, well, maybe she could, put it on her iPad, a video on her iPad, or whatever they call those things. And she could do that. But later on, he told me that what he did was, when she was visibly upset, he would just draw a little shark on the chalkboard, and he would point it and say, look. And then she would just conjure up the image of the shark attack, and voila. She was calm.